Welcome to Millennium Time Bulletin. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium News Channel 24. Today I'm bringing you the latest updates from around the world. Let's begin with today's top headlines. Mexican border town declares state of emergency as Trump pledges mass deportation. Hamas releases first Israeli hostages after the Gaza ceasefire takes effect. Tanzania confirms Marburg virus outbreak after initial denials. Biden issues preemptive pardon for siblings Fossey and January 6 riot panel. Trump vows to leave Paris Agreement. China execute man who killed 35 people in car rampage. Melania Trump launches her own cryptocurrency. Asian market rally, Nikkei hits new high, Hang Seng soars. Rashford not given up on playing for Manchester United again. India to host FIDE World Cup in 2025. 3 candidates, spots up for the grabs. Now let's look at the details. Migrant shelter in Tijuana, located across the border from the San Diego, California, are bracing for a possible surge in the influx of migrants should US President Donald Trump carry out hit mass deportation plans. More than 30 shelters operate in the Mexican border city located in the northwestern state of Baja California, according to the local authorities. Humanitarian workers CNN spoke to said a lack of space, resources, and overall uncertainty are among the issues facing the shelters. The director of Jardín de las Mariposas shelter, C. Jamie, told CNN there is concern that Trump's potential mass deportations could trigger a humanitarian crisis related to services for both migrants going to the United States and those going to be deported. There is collective nervousness about the decisions made by President Trump administration, Marin said. The biggest challenge for shelters is not knowing what is going to happen. I'm mentally preparing myself, Pat Murphy, who runs the Casa del Migranta shelter, told the CNN last week. Prior to the Trump inauguration, their worries stem from Trump's promises to carry out mass deportations once in office. During his inaugural speech on Monday, Trump reiterated his pledge he will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came, he said in the US Capitol, bracing for the potential surge of migrants entering the city. Authorities in Tijuana declared a state of emergency last week. The state of emergency is an administrative move that allows the city to access funds to rent spaces and pay for legal services, personal equipment, and supplies, according to a statement from the city shared with the Millennium News Channel. However, the city's mayor Ismail said last week that Tijuana isn't alarmed and called the measure preventive in case Trump really does what he say he's going to do. He also said the city has prepared spaces should there be a surge of deportees. The Mexican government is also preparing for the potential influx of migrants by announcing the creation of shelters in border towns and attending caravans. 3 female Israeli hostages held by Hamas in Gaza for 15 months have been released and brought back to Israel after a long-awaited ceasefire deal that took effect. Romy Durand and Emily Damari, who is also a British citizen, were due to be freed in exchange for the 90 Palestinian prisoners in Israel jails. The start of the ceasefire was delayed by several hours on Sunday morning morning after Hamas were late confirming the hostages' name. 19 Palestinians were reportedly killed in the Israeli strike before the list was delivered. Once the truce began, hundreds of displaced people began handing over their homes across Gaza, and convoy of IRIs carrying desperately needed humanitarian aid crossed into the territory. The three-phase deal was brokered last week by the United States, Egypt, and Qatar, where the Foreign Ministry spokesperson said it was a deal for hope and the last chance for peace. The first phase, lasting 6 weeks, should be seeing a total 33 Israeli hostages held by Hamas exchanged for about 1,900 Palestinian prisoners and detainees from Gaza. Israel force will also withdraw from the densely populated areas of Gaza. Displaced Palestinians will be allowed to begin recovering and returning to their homes, and hundreds of aid lorries will be allowed into the territory each day. Negotiations for the second phase, which also sees remaining hostages released, a full Israeli troop withdrawal, and the restoration of sustainable calm, should start in just over 2 weeks. The third and final stage will involve the reconstruction of Gaza, which could take years, and return on any remaining hostage's body. The ceasefire seemed fragile and uncertain until the very last moment on Sunday. It was due to start at the 8:30 local time, but the Israeli government said Hamas had not delivered the name of the first hostages to be freed in exchange for the Palestinian prisoners. Hamas said the delay was caused by the technical field reasons, adding that it was still committed to the agreement. The Hamas-run Civil Defense Agency said 19 people were killed and 36 people were wounded in Israeli air and artillery strikes across Gaza during the delay, who was abducted from the Nova musical festival as well. Tanzania president has announced an outbreak of Marburg virus, an Ebola-like virus, just weeks after the health ministry denied that there were any cases in the country. President Samia Suluhu Hassan said at a press conference on Monday that the health authorities had confirmed one case of Marburg in the northwestern region of Kagera. We are confident that we will overcome this challenge once again, Samia said, referring to a previous outbreak in Tanzania 2 years ago. On 14 January, the WHO, that is the World Health Organization, reported a suspected Marburg outbreak in the country, having recorded 9 suspected cases and 8 deaths over 5 days in Kagera. But Tanzania's Health Minister Janista said in a statement that after samples had been analyzed, all suspected cases were found negative from Marburg. At Monday's press briefing, which have been held jointly with the WHO, President Samia said her government had stepped up its effort and that a rapid response team had been dispatched to allow for the follow-up on all suspected cases. Marburg is highly infectious with symptoms including fever, muscle pain, diarrhea, vomiting, and in some cases death due to extreme blood loss. On average, the virus kills half of the people it affects, and according to the WHO, Tanzania says that along with one of the confirmed cases, authorities took sample from the 24 other people suspected of having Marburg. They have all tested negative. Meanwhile, the cause of the 8 deaths reported by the WHO has yet to be revealed. Tanzania experienced its first Marburg outbreak in March 2023 in the Bukoba district. It killed 6 people and lasted for nearly 2 months. WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom also said the global risk from Tanzania current outbreak was low. Even though there was no approved treatment or vaccines, outbreak can be stopped quickly, he said. WHO advises against restriction. Now is the time for collaboration. In the final minutes of his presidency, Joe Biden preemptively pardoned several members of his family, including his brother James, Frances and Frank Biden and sister Valerie Biden Owens. In a statement released as Donald Trump arrived at the Capitol Rotunda, Biden said the pardons were intended to shield his family from politically motivated attacks. The 11th hour move follows another set of pardon issued to COVID response chief Anthony Fauci and members of the House 6 January riot investigations to prevent what he called unjustified politically motivated prosecutions. The outgoing president said, "Our nation owes these public servants a debt of gratitude for their tireless commitment." Trump regularly clashed with Dr. Fauci during the pandemic and has suggested he would take actions against those who tried to hold him accountable for the January 6 Capitol riots and other enemies from within. For years, Trump has leveled unproven accusation of corruption at both Biden and his family. In 2023, House Republicans launched a nearly year-long investigation into the Bidens, examining their business dealings abroad, but found no criminal wrongdoing. "My family has been subjected to unrelenting attack and threats motivated solely by a desire to hurt me," Biden said in a statement. "Unfortunately, I have no reason to believe these attacks will end." In addition to his siblings, Biden issued pardons for his sister-in-law Sarah Jones Biden and his brother-in-law John Owens. The outgoing president had previously issued a pardon for his son Hunter Biden, who was facing sentencing for 2 criminal cases as he prepared to leave the White House. Biden also commuted the life sentence of indigenous activist Leonard Peltier, who was serving a life sentence for the 1975 murder of 2 FBI agents. Peltier will transition to house arrest, Biden said in a statement. On Monday morning, a Trump spokesperson has called Biden's preemptive pardons the greatest attack on America's justice system in history. With the stroke of a pen, Biden, unilaterally shielded a group of political cronies from the scale of justice. Taylor, Trump's incoming deputy chief of staff for communication and personnel, said in a post on X. "This is yet another dangerous and irreversible erosion of American norms." Biden also issued a preemptive pardon to Mark Milley, a former chairman of the Jones chief of staff who last year described Trump as the fascist. Biden's statement said that the pardon should not be mistakenly as an acknowledgement that any of those covered engaged in any wrongdoing. Democrats had warned the outgoing president against such move and actions. Adam Schiff, a senator for California, said Biden's could set a precedent for each president hereafter on the way out the door, giving a broad category of pardons. Dr. Fauci told U.S. media that he truly appreciated Biden for taking action, adding that the possibility of prosecutions had created immeasurable and intolerable distress of his family. President Donald Trump has again vowed to withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement, the world's most important effort to tackle the rising temperatures. The first Trump administration made a similar move in 2017, but the step was promptly reversed on President Joe Biden's first day in office in 2021. The U.S. will now have to wait a year long before it will officially be out of the pact. The White House announced a national energy emergency outlining a raft of changes that will reverse U.S. climate regulation and boost oil and gas productions. It comes after global temperatures in the 2024 rose more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels for the first time in a calendar year. While the Paris Agreement is not a legally binding treaty, it is a document that drives global cooperation to limit the causes of global warming. President Trump's antipathy to this cooperative approach was echoed in his statement in 2017 that he had been elected to represent the people of Pittsburgh and not Paris. This temperature threshold was established in the Paris Agreement and as a level beyond which the world would face extremely dangerous impacts. The US will now join Iran, Yemen, and Libya as the only countries to currently stand outside the agreement. which was signed 10 years ago in the French capital Paris. The withdrawal comes as the president announced a national energy emergency that would allow him to reverse many of the Biden-era environmental regulations. "We will drill, baby, drill," he said. In his inaugural speech, the new US president, also vowed the US would embark on a new age of oil and gas exploration. "We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves again up right to the top, and export American energy all over the world," he told the audience. "We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help us to do it." However, US fossil fuels also already flowing like never before since 2016. Production of American oil has gone up 70%, and the US is now the world's dominant producer and exporter. Similarly, liquefied natural gas (LNG) exports have gone up almost zero in 2016 to the US, becoming the global lead. The new administration says the president will also end the Green New Deal, a reference to the Inflation Reduction Act, Biden's signature climate policy that channeled billions into the clean energy. The president says he will also cancel efforts to boost ownership of electric vehicles, what he terms the Biden EV mandate, and he will strengthen effort to save the US car industry. China on Monday executed a man who killed 35 people in a car rampage in the southern city of Zhuhai in November. In the country's deadliest mass attack in years, on November 11, Fan Wiki 62 deliberately drove a small SUV through crowds of people exercising outside a sports complex, also injuring 45 in China's worst such crime since 2014. He was sentenced to death last month, with the court saying his motives were extremely vile and the nature of crime extremely dangerous. State broadcaster CCTV said on Monday a Zhuhai court executed Fan Wiki in accordance with the execution order issued by the Supreme People's Court. The municipal public prosecutor sent personnel to supervise the execution in accordance with the law. CCTV reported Fan's attack sparked widespread public shock and soul-searching in China about the state of society they are living in. He was detained at the scene with self-inflicted knife wound and fell into a coma, police said at the time. The court found he decided to vent his anger over a broken marriage, personal frustrations, and dissatisfaction with the division of property after divorce. It concluded that the method he used were particularly cruel and consequences particularly severe, posing significant harm to the society. Violent crime is generally rarer in China than many Western countries, but the country saw a string of mass casualty events last year. Stabbings and car attacks challenged the ruling Communist Party's reputation for strict public security and crime preventions. They also carried a shock factor that led to some questions perceived social ills such as frustration with the slowing democracy and economy, high unemployment rates, and diminishing social mobility. Incoming First Lady Melania Trump has launched a cryptocurrency on the eve of her husband's inauguration as the US president. The announcement comes after the president-elect Donald Trump launched the Trump cryptocurrency. Both coins have risen but have seen volatile trade. The official Melania meme is live. You can buy Melania now. So this posted on the social platforms on X today on Sunday. Disclaimers on the website of both the Trump and Melania coins said that they were not intended to be or the subject of an investment opportunity or a security. According to Coin Market Cap website, Trump has a total market valuation of about $12 billion, while Melania stands at around $1.7 billion. Trump had previously called crypto a scam, but during the 2024 election campaign became the first presidential candidate to accept digital assets as donations. During the campaign, his family launched a cryptocurrency company called World Liberty Financial, which aims to lead a financial revolution by dismantling the stranglehold of traditional financial institutions, and is also selling a crypto coin. The new Trump coin was launched from Trump's organization affiliate CIC Digital, which is linked to previous sales of crypto collectible NFTs launched in 2022 that made millions of dollars but have since fallen dramatically in value for their owners. According to CoinGecko, the NFT once sold for more than $1,000 have been since dropped in value to around $300. On the campaign trail, Trump has also said he would create a strategic Bitcoin stockpile and appoint financial regulators that take a power more positively stance and the digital assets way and pave the security measures. This spurred expectation that he would strip back regulations on the crypto industry. In the wake of Trump's victory, Bitcoin jumped to a record high of about $100,000 according to the cryptocurrency trading platform Coinbase. On Friday, the incoming artificial intelligence AI and crypto czar David Sachs had a crypto ball in Washington, D.C. Other cryptocurrencies, including Dogecoin, was also being prompted by high-profile Trump supporter Elon Musk, have also risen sharply this year. Under President Joe Biden, regulators cited concern about the fraud and money laundering as they cracked down on cryptocurrencies and crypto companies by suing exchanges. The growth of Dogecoin has significantly increased the interest in so-called meme coins, cryptocurrencies typically linked to a viral internet trend or movement. Now bringing you the latest updates on today's market trends. The global market displayed positive momentum today with major indices in the Americas showing strong performance. In the United States, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose by 334.70 points to close at 43,487.83. Signaling confidence in larger cap stocks, the S&P 500 gained 59.32 points, reaching 5,996, reflecting overall growth across multiple sectors. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq surged significantly by 291 points to rise at $19,630, led by the robust activity in technology and growth sectors. Small cap stocks represented by the Russell 2000 saw a modest increase of 9.09 points, closing at 2,275. The volatility index, called as the VIX, declined 0.63 points to 15.97, indicating reduced market uncertainty. In Canada, the S&P TSX Composite Index advanced by 6.5 points to $25,133, while S&P TSX 60 rose by 3.03 points to 1,507, signaling stability in Canadian markets. Other markets in the America also experienced growth. Brazil's Bovespa climbed by 470.23 points to 100,000. Similarly, Chil's S&P IPSA advanced by 45.13 points to 7,000, while Mexico's S&P BMV IPC saw a rise of 321.82 points, closing at 50,262. This overall upward trajectory highlights investor optimism supported by a positive outlook in the technology and broad-based market sectors across the Americas. The commodities market exhibited mixed performance today, with energy and precious metals showing divergent trends. In the energy sector, WTI crude oil declined by 0.95 points, closing at $76.44, while the Brent crude oil fell by 0.73 points to $80.06. These drops reflect a possible weakening in global oil demand or increased supply pressure. Similarly, natural gas experienced a decline of 0.08 points, settling at $3.40, suggesting a lower demand for heating fuels or an oversupply scenario. In the precious metal, gold dropped by 22 points, ending at $2,726. Despite the decline, its price remained within the higher end of the 52-week range, showcasing its stability as a safe haven asset. Conversely, silver showed a slight increase of 0.01 points to $31.16, reflecting steadiness in investors' interest. In the agriculture segment, soya beans remained unchanged at $10.34, indicating a balanced supply and demand dynamic. This varied movement across commodities highlight the interplay of global economic factors such as inflation concerns, energy demands, and supply-side dynamics shaping the market. Asian market displayed strong performance, reflecting investor optimism across major indices. The Nikkei index closed at 38,902, registering a gain of 451.04 points, signaling robust confidence in Japan's economic outlook. Meanwhile, the Hang Seng index in Hong Kong surged to 19,925, rising by 341 points, possibly driven by easing economic concern in the supportive market. In India, the S&P BSE Sensex ended at 77,000, advancing by 454 points, indicating sustained investor interest bolstered by positive domestic developments and strong foreign inflows. The overall upward trend across these indices highlights the resilience of the Asian market amidst global economic uncertainties. However, the future movement could be influenced by the geopolitical development and central bank policies. We'll be right back after a short break. I'm Shweta Samar from New Delhi. Keep watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back after the break. I'm Shweta Samar and you're watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin. Now let's look at some sports highlights. Rashford has not featured for United since being substituted in the Europa League victory over Victoria Pleasant on December 12, after which his training performances were so-called into questioned by the head coach Ruben Amorim. The 27-year-old has been on bench once in the intervening period when he was unused substitute in the 3-0 home defeat by Newcastle on 30 December. Asked about Rashford in the wake of Sunday's 3-1 loss on Brighton at Old Trafford, Amorim said it's his choice, which led to speculation Rashford had been asked not to be considered. However, club sources do not believe that he was what Amorim meant and feel that the former Sporting boss was merely outlining Rashford's future in his own hands. Sources close to the player have also stressed Rashford wants to play for United and has no significant issues with Amorim and would play if he was called upon. Rashford has been linked with a number of European clubs and likelihood remains he will leave on loan before the current transfer window closes at the beginning of February. It is not known how often Rashford was trained with his first time since his exile from the Amorim's match day squad began on Wednesday. Cameras will be allowed in the United Carrington trading ground to film the first 15 minutes of the club's pre-match session ahead of the key Europa League encounter with the Rangers at Old Trafford. Both clubs are currently in a coveted top 8 spot, with United in 7th on 12 points and Rangers a point and a place behind. However, 17th placed Pleasant are just 3 points behind United with 2 games remaining, and neither club is certain even of a playoff spot. India will host the prestigious FIDE World Cup 2025 chess tournament this year. While FIDE initially named India as the host for the events on its website on Monday, later it changed the event's detail to state that the host will be announced soon. The FIDE World Cup offers the top 3 finishers a spot at the prestigious Candidates Tournament, which is the pathway to become a challenger to Gukesh at the next World Championship. This is why for many of India's top players like Arjun Vidit and R. Pandaswamy, the FIDE World Cup will be an event to circle on their calendars. While the World Cup offers 3 spots in the 8 players candidate tournament, it must be noted 206 players complete for those 3 spots. The tournament is so notoriously tough to win that Magnus Carlsen only won his first World Cup in 2023. The World Cup happens over 8 rounds in a knockout format. The top 50 seeded players play from the second round onwards. Each one-on-one match and the FIDE World Cup is played as a set of 2 classical games with colors exchanged between game 1 and 2. If the 2 games cannot decide a winner, there are tie breaks. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in. Stay with us for more updates. Log in to stay updated with the latest news on our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Millennium News 24. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel Millennium News 24. You can watch us on Android and iOS devices as well as on Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and all smart TV platforms. Enjoy entertainment and latest news with us. Download the Millennium TV app, Millennium TV USA for Android, and Millennium News on Google. Thank you for being part of Millennium News channel.